using white cord here for demonstration purposes because it shows up better than yellow. I've taken 4 meters of cord, cut it in half so that I've got 2 lots of 2 meters, doubled the ends over to form 2 loops as shown, and secured them with a rubber band. Ultimately you won't need a rubber band, but in the early stages it does help you secure things. So let's start our Matthew Walker knot. I'm going to form a loop with one of the leads. Any lead will do to start with, and I'll take the end of that lead around the back and feed it back up through the loop that I formed. Go to the next lead, which is this one, form another loop similar to the first one, but hold it underneath the first one that we formed, underneath, as shown in the video there. Take the end of that around the back and up through the 2 loops that we've formed. And you may notice there's a slight kink in the line there, so gently tease that out. Take the next lead in line, form another loop, and yes, we've got to hold it underneath the previous one. And I'm keeping things fairly slack at the moment because ultimately I'll have 4 loops with 4 leads going through them, so I need room to manoeuvre. Take that lead round the back and up through the 3 loops that we'd formed, and I have one left. Here it is. I'm going to form my final loop and hold it again underneath the previous one, so it's on the bottom of 4 now because this is the final one. Take the lead around the back and back through the 4 loops. You can see why I've kept things slack, because that gap in the middle there is now getting quite small, and I've got another kink, so let's gently tease that out by just twisting the line as we pull it through. Yep, there we go. It's not looking much like a Matthew Walker knot just yet, but it will as we tighten things up. Now the last loop I formed, I've got to tighten that up just a fraction, not too much, just a little bit. The secret of all decorative rope work is patience. Take the previous lead and loop and tighten that up a little bit. If we try to tighten things too quickly, we can easily lose the structure of the knot, so patience really is a virtue here. And we keep going back to each previous lead and loop and just tighten up a little bit at a time, and we keep going round and round. And it does help, particularly with a knot like this, to have a look at the final knot so that we can keep an eye on the structure of the one that we're tying now. Just keep going back and tightening ever so slightly, just a bit at a time. Keep going round and round to the previous one, and I think we can now see that it's starting to form. Yeah, that structure is there, and the previous one. Now if you look carefully, we're in danger here of losing the structure if we're not careful, so make sure that this loop is laid under the one it's supposed to be underneath. Have a look at the finished article just to make sure that you've got the structure right. And there we go, that structure is looking fairly good now, and all we need to do is tighten bit at a time, and when we've finally got the knot tied, we can dispose with the rubber band because we no longer need it. So just gently does it, bit at a time, tighten one at a time, and our bell rope is well and truly started with a Matthew Walker knot.